Welcome back to the next episode. I'm your host, DeAndre Simmons, bringing you back financial news, financial topics, and ultimately bringing financial discussions, financial topics to you. Now, we got a packed video. Packed video. But before we continue, if you need any financial services such as tax or budgeting, go ahead and click the link below. Now, today going to be a interesting video. We're going to be talking about job cuts. We're going to talk about layoffs. We're going to be talking about ghost jobs. We're going to talk about, in the last one, student loan garnishments and how it's going to impact the graduating people who have student loans, right? And what should we look out for, and what should people look out for, right? Who have student loans, right? Now, let's start it off. Number one, just ghost jobs. Why are companies promoting ghost jobs and just keeping job postings open, and they have a job listing open, but they hire internally instead, but they still have the posting out? Or why do they, ask a billion experience for entry-level positions? And the reason is, right? The reason these companies, these corporations are doing this is to gain, right? Is to gain information on you. That's it. To gain information on you, to gain information on the job landscape, especially with the new tariffs and the new things happening in the economy. It's a lot of uncertainty, right? So a lot of companies are, taking people applications, but they're just trying to see what everybody else do. What do this corporation do? What do this company over here is doing? What is going on? We do not have economic certainty as of now, right? So that's another reason why they're doing ghost jobs. Another reason is some companies make money off of it, right? So your data to data brokers, and that's why you're getting 1 million scam calls a day, right? So that's another reason, right? But job cuts, right? So let's talk about job cuts or layoffs. My favorite topic right now that I've been watching right now and seeing is the UPS, right? UPS, as of now, right, laid off, about 9,000 workers, or give or take. But crazy thing is, they're doing buyouts. They're doing buyouts to full-time employees of UPS, well, full-time drivers, full-time drivers. They're offering voluntary buyouts. If you volunteer and you're a driver, you get a nice, might get a good chunk of change, right? Let the companies buy them out. About 20,000 positions, 20,000 driving positions they want to buy out, right? That's impacting about 73 facilities altogether, right? 70 facilities, give or take, right? Now, a lot of people don't know this, but UPS is under a contract, labor union, under I think it's Teamstry union, which protects the drivers and workers and such and forth, right? And they're saying this is illegal. This is a legal, right, violation of their contract, which in some cases it might actually be, but UPS saying no, it's not. They're going to still honor their agreement and contract, but it's voluntary, right? So that means two things are going to happen. Once the contract up, what is the labor union going to do, right? What are they going to do once the labor union contract is up? They're going to get fired. They're going to get laid off. They're going to be bye-bye, right? They're going to cut a lot of driving jobs, right? So it's time for people to, probably look at a different career, probably look at a different, maybe a different career trajectory, or a business venture, or a smaller company, smaller business in logistics for drivers, and just, downsizing themselves. Now, if I was a driver of UPS, well, it depends, right? If you have a family, kid, blah, 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 then you might have to take in consideration of, well, if I get a buyout, how fast can I get another driving position? Maybe with Amazon, probably not going to work too long due to AI and all that good stuff and automation. And trying to find AI to drive vans and trucks themselves. Which I feel like it's not going to get that far because you still need a human component for the most part for, more intricate, truck driving, such as driving trucks all in Canada where it's snowing, right? I don't think AI can, navigate or a tire pops. Now you can do, roadside assistance and go do. But for the most part, truck driving when it comes to off the grid or really, really rural areas and things of this sort, I think is going to have trouble with, right? That's why that still human component might still come into place for those particular areas, right? So that's my personal opinion. But if I was a driver, 9 times out of 10, for UPS, I might consider taking a voluntary buyout, maybe go to a smaller logistic company, or start my own logistics company. Depends, right? And it depends on your risk tolerance as well, right? But I would say probably quit, get the buyout, go to a smaller company, a small logistics company, maybe a local service, give or take, right? Until everything kind of die down. Because trust me, UPS will find another way to get rid of their drivers. Trust me. Now, talked about, ghost jobs and what they're doing and the uncertainty in the market, and a lot of careers are getting laid off. A lot of people are losing their jobs due to AI, optimizing systems and in these companies and these corporations and things of this sort. Everything's become more digitalized. So it's a lot of, fast progression when it comes to technology today, right? Really fast. Now, student loan garnishments. Let's talk about student loan garnishments for a second. The Department of Education has the authority now to garnish your wages. That's number one. To take your tax refund. Number two. And third one, last but not least, to withhold government benefits. That can be any benefit that you might need at that given time. They can have the authority to take your tax refund, right? Garnish your wages, and not be able to or refuse government services to you. Now, over 5.3 million borrowers of student loans are delinquent, right? That means they're subject to student loan wage garnishments, benefits withheld, government benefits withheld, or tax refunds being taken, right? Now, I think it's going to get worse, right? It's going to be more delinquents due to the job market, due to people not being able to afford, due to companies downsizing. The workforce is going to have to do two things, right? Maybe people might have to do a career change. People might have to move. People might have to create their own enterprises. There might have to be more competitors in the market, right? For certain industries, depending, right? But ultimately, people, these 5.3 people who are delinquent right now, as of now, might see garnishments in their wages. So take that into consideration. If you're delinquent right now, please go ahead and, try to pay towards the student loans. Get your student loans paid off as quick as possible. That's my personal opinion. Now, when it comes to when it comes to the employers, some employers, right? Some employers, as of now, are offering services to their employees. Let me explain. One is PTO, paid time off. Everybody gets PTO. Most companies get PTO. Some employers are offering, now you can say this is a good idea or a bad idea. Some corporations and companies are offering for employees to give up or exchange their PTO to their student loans. So the PTO will go towards their student loans, right? Now, imagine this. You worked for your PTO, and then you have to forfeit or exchange your PTO for your student loan payment. So essentially, you don't get no vacation. You don't get no paid time off. You don't get no mental health week, mental health month, right? Depending on how much PTO you get, right? Or just have some time to yourself because you got that student loan on you. And in my personal opinion, this is going to increase burnout even more. Even more. Because imagine you got student loans, you working, you built up your PTO, and then you got to exchange your PTO to help pay off your student loans. Now, it's going to increase more burnout. People are going to quit even more. People are not want to go work. Most people don't even want to work in the job market right now. Some people are at a point where they don't even want to apply to a job anymore due to the frustrations of the job market and getting a job and having a job and placing a job and having a place where you can really grow your career and understand the industry that you're working in. No, about 6 months you might get fired. 12 months you might get fired. You might have to job hop a lot to get to the place where you want to be. Now, got student loans, pay them. Try to pay them as fast as possible. If your employer do offer programs, take those programs. Even if it's the PTO exchange, hey, you might have to do that. You might have to do it. Depending, right? Now, that was the episode. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, DeAndre Simmons. See you guys in the next episode. Peace.